Hey guys, Coach Rach here. This podcast is intended to inspire, educate, and support you on your health and fitness journey. I am not a medical doctor and cannot give any professional medical advice. If you are suffering from any kind of medical condition, whether it's mental or physical, please seek help from a qualified health practitioner. Welcome to the Diet Starts Never podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Nigro, aka Coach Rach. This podcast will teach you how to live your healthiest life in and out of the gym and put yourself first again. Oh, and we get long-lasting results here. I've made it my mission to help my clients ditch the diet mentality and heal their relationship with food and themselves. After transforming hundreds of bodies and minds, it's your turn. Are you ready? What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Diet Starts Never. So excited you are here because this episode is so important. I feel like I say this almost every single time, but every episode is important, guys. We're here to talk about your health. Anyway, let's jump into it. So we are approaching the summer months and, seasonal depression has officially left the building. With warmer weather comes more time outside, special events, social gatherings, and unfortunately, a realization that you may not be where you want to be physically. This is the time of the year where you say, oh shit, and want to make a drastic change to your body. And I know that that's not the right way to lose weight, but you feel like you're out of time. So I'm here to tell you that you are not out of time. If you don't love yourself now, you're not going to when you're skinny. Will reaching a physique goal make you feel better? Yeah, absolutely. But there is so much more that comes with it. It comes with the lifestyle. It comes with holding yourself to a certain standard, putting yourself first, building a strong relationship with yourself, with your body, with food. And I want you to reach your physique goal, but you can't do that without being healthy. So, unfortunately, imbalanced hormones can prevent you from your fat loss goals, but they can also make you unhealthy. So let's paint a picture. Like I just said, you just realized summer is coming up. So you decide to make some moves to help you tone up, lean out, to feel better when you look in the mirror. So you start doing high intensity workouts 4 to 6 times a week, and you go on a 1,200 calories per day diet. So you're moving in the right direction, but the way you're going about it is going to hurt you in the long run. Here's the thing. Excessive and restrictive dieting for a long period of time can lead to hormonal imbalances. Picture this. Your body's only goal is to keep you alive. That's it. That is all it is designed for. And when you restrict calories for a long period of time, your body thinks it's in like a famine because it's not being fed. And rather than losing weight, instead, it's holding on to everything you eat because it doesn't know when it's going to get the proper amount of food next. So your body tries to store all of the nutrients. On top of that, because you're working out so rigorously with high intensity workouts, your body thinks it's getting chased by a bear every day. So it's injecting cortisol into your body for that extra jolt of energy to keep you going. Imagine being chased by a bear every single day while you're living in the middle of famine. You would be stressed out too. And that's what's going on with your body. It's stressed. So, in return, your cortisol is constantly elevated throughout your body. And this affects all other hormones, leading to a hormonal imbalance. So, today's episode, we are going to talk about something that matters more than weight loss, which is hormone health. Your hormones have such an enormous effect on your quality of life. It's not normal to be bloated, tired, weak, anxious all of the time. And listen, not everything may be a hormone imbalance, but there's a really good chance that it can be. Regardless, I want to provide you with all the symptoms of hormonal imbalances and give you ways to balance them naturally. Even if you don't have a hormone imbalance, the tips I give you will only end up supporting your body at the end of the day. They will only make you feel better. So I'm going to cover the 5 key hormones that affect fat loss because at the end of the day, I know you're here because you want to lose fat in a healthy and sustainable way. And I want to help you do that by providing you with all the information necessary to understand how to support your body on this fat loss journey. But even further, how to understand to support your body forever. So the 5 key hormones, they're insulin, cortisol, leptin, ghrelin, and estrogen. Not only do they affect fat loss and play distinct roles in our body's ability to burn fat and maintain a healthy weight, but they affect overall health, how you feel and function on a day to day basis. So let's start with insulin. I'm sure you've heard this before. This is the hormone that regulates metabolism and brings energy to your cells. It does this by regulating blood sugar levels. So it transports glucose from the bloodstream into our cells to be used as energy. It can cause weight gain, brain fog. I do that every time. Brain fog, chronic fatigue, and dizziness. Balancing insulin levels can be achieved through a well balanced diet. So that looks like complex carbs such as whole grains, brown rice, starchy veggies, lean protein such as chicken, lean ground turkey, most fishes. Then we have our healthy fats such as olive oil, avocado, and nuts. I do this by eating low glycemic foods, by avoiding refined sugars and processed foods, and by focusing on balancing those foods. Regular physical activity also plays a huge role in balancing insulin. All right, let's move to cortisol. This is the infamous stress hormone that is responsible for our fight or flight mentality. When we're under chronic stress, our cortisol levels can become imbalanced. With too much cortisol, you can feel anxious, you can feel constantly hungry, and deal with skin or weight issues. So here's the tricky part. Almost everything we do is a stressor to our body. Our brain perceives emotional and physical stress the same. It doesn't matter if you lifted weights or got a bad night rest. Stress is stress and it's going to increase your cortisol. I understand that most of our daily life comes with stressors. That's why it is so important to do your best to minimize stress. I know easier said than done, but hear me out. To keep your cortisol levels balanced, make sure you're getting enough sleep. Practice relaxation techniques, breath work, meditation. If going to the gym de stresses you, then use that and reduce stress in your daily life. I worked really hard to create a stress free life for myself. And I think the biggest thing that does it for me is how I perceive situations. Listen, you can't control what you can't control. Dwelling on something that you can't change is only going to make things worse. But the power of positive thinking is real. So do your best to transform those negative thoughts into positive ones. And if you're telling me sitting here thinking right now, well, Rachel, that is bullshit. Well, what's the alternative? You can't just quit your job or lose 50 pounds overnight. So you might as well show up every day with the best intentions, with a positive outlook. I dare you to try it. See what happens. Okay, moving on to the two hunger hormones, leptin and ghrelin. The two work together to regulate hunger and satiety. Leptin, known as the starvation hormone, it's responsible for regulating your appetite and signaling you to put the fork down. That means if your leptin is out of whack, you'll tend to have a larger appetite and a tendency to overeat. It's greatly affected by restrictive eating, so keep it balanced by eating regularly and avoiding extreme calorie restrictions or skipping meals. Ghrelin, known as the hunger hormone, it's the yin to leptin's yang. So when one is out of whack, the other tends to follow suit. Ghrelin is what makes you start eating, while leptin helps you stop. To keep cravings under control, you have to keep ghrelin under control. A few ways to balance the two are to focus on eating balanced meals filled with protein, healthy fats, fiber rich foods, staying hydrated, getting enough sleep, and managing stress levels. I also think it's really important to practice mindful eating. Just because a meal is in front of you does not mean that you need to eat the entire thing and vice versa. Just because you have a serving size in front of you does not mean that that's all you have to eat. You're allowed to eat more than what the serving suggestion is. That's just the serving suggestion is just there to give you the nutrition facts. So this is why I practice and preach tracking macros. How are you supposed to know how much food you're supposed to eat if you don't take the time to learn what it looks like? And you can absolutely achieve that through tracking macros, but you have to go into it with that mindset that I am here to better my body, to better my life, to better how I feel. I'm here to learn what foods make me feel good and what foods fuel my body best and the proper serving sizes for my body, not for somebody else's body. Moving on, last but not least, we have estrogen. Estrogen is responsible for the development of the reproductive system. And as we age, it can fluctuate. Both very high and very low levels of estrogen can lead to weight, which is why women in menopause tend to see either a weight gain or difficulty losing weight. This can be a harder one to balance naturally, but just like the others, getting enough sleep, staying hydrated, eating a balanced diet, and regular exercise is a great place to start. Now, we've covered these hormones. What do you do with this info? Well, I think it's important to keep an eye out for any symptoms I explained, especially if you have difficulty losing weight or feel like you've gained unwanted weight. So go back, listen to the symptoms. Basically, there are any symptoms of negative biofeedback could be a sign that there's a hormone imbalance. But listen, if you got a bad night's sleep, you got a bad night's sleep. But if you're getting a bad night's sleep every single night, not only is that going to make you feel like shit, it's going to make you feel exhausted, but it's going to throw off your hormones. I already explained why. So you can 100% focus on balancing your hormones naturally with the tips I gave you. But if you suspect a hormone imbalance, it's just always a good idea to consult with a healthcare professional who can provide personalized guidance and support. I want to give you guys a little bit more info on how you can achieve hormonal balance through your nutrition. Everything that goes into your body affects it. Sugar, sodium, water, carbs, protein, etc. The list goes on and on. Let's talk sodium, for example. Like eating very high sodium foods is going to make you feel bloated. Eating really high sugary foods is going to throw off your hormones. It's going to throw off your insulin. Not getting enough water is going to keep you dehydrated. Again, is going to throw off your hormones. Eating too many refined carbs, again, going to throw off your sugars. It is all relevant. The reason I preach the 80-20 rule isn't just to maintain a lean physique. Yes, that's one of the benefits. It's to maintain good health. It's to maintain balanced hormones. There's a big difference between eating any kind of food. There's a big difference between eating any kind of food to hit your macros versus clean, nutrient dense foods to hit your macros. I'm sorry, but having Chick-fil-A every day just because it fits your macros is not going to support your health. Even if the macro says it's clean, think about the processing that that food has to go to. Think about how much sodium they need to add into, how much oil is on that grill, what else was cooked on that grill. Again, the list goes on and on because there are so many things that go into food if you're not cooking it for yourself. That's why majority of food that goes into your body should be cooked in your kitchen because you know what's in it, because you know what you're putting in your body. So let's discuss some key nutrients to naturally support your hormones and what foods you can find them in. Magnesium. Oh my goodness, I am obsessed with magnesium. It has so many benefits. Not only does it help you go to the bathroom, but it helps you get good sleep. It helps with brain function. There are a couple different forms. I'm not going to jump too much into it. We'll save that for a different episode, but I usually recommend supplementing because we need a lot of magnesium to support hormone production, and it's hard to get it all through diet. If you do want magnesium for another kind of support, such as going to the bathroom or getting more sleep, I definitely recommend a supplement. But here are some foods you can get it through naturally. Dark chocolate, heck yeah, dark chocolate, I said. Avocados, cashews, almonds, pumpkin seeds, black beans, edamame, brown rice, and spinach. Next up, we have vitamin D. The best way to get vitamin D is sunlight. So go for a walk outside or lay out for 30 minutes a day. This is why it's a good idea to supplement during the winter months. So salmon, tuna, avocado, cheese, eggs, fortified milk, fortified orange juice, mackerel, cod liver oil. I personally, I'm always on my blood work, always vitamin D deficient. I always supplement with vitamin D just because I know it's going to support my body. Next up, we got those omega 3s. Many diets consist primarily of omega 6 fatty acids, which actually promotes inflammation. So you need to balance them with omega 3s. Think salmon, eggs, chia seeds, walnuts, spinach, Brussels sprouts, mackerel, and flax seeds. And then finally, we have the B vitamins. You want to include as much variation as possible, especially prioritizing vitamin B6, B12, B9. So we've got beef, chicken, milk, regular milk, not oat milk, almonds, sunflower seeds, lentils, chickpeas, dark leafy greens, and yogurt. So, finally, let's tie this all into fat loss one more time. Chances are, if you are struggling to lose weight or you've gained unwanted weight, like I already said, there's a hormonal imbalance, but you're probably focusing on the wrong things in your fat loss journey. Instead, I'm going to give you guys some swaps. So instead of focusing on how much sugar is in your coffee and how much caffeine is safe to drink, do focus on if you're supporting your body so it can feel energized all day long without supplements. So, how can you naturally support your body? How can you naturally get energy into your body? Another one, instead of focusing on what the best brand of protein powder is and which one you should buy and taking that every single day, do focus on getting enough protein from whole food sources such as meat, fish, um, tofu, things like that, natural sources, instead of focusing on if you should treat your migraines with Advil or Tylenol. Focus on making sure you're getting enough sleep at night and drinking enough water. Instead of focusing on how many calories is in your, let's say, Lenny and Larry's protein cookie, focus on enjoying all of your favorite treats because you know how to balance your blood sugar spikes. And last but not least, instead of focusing on what you aren't seeing from all of your weight loss efforts, focus on if you're nourishing your body properly with eating enough foods, with putting enough nutrients into it. How can you expect your body to change if you're not even giving it the bare minimum? So, if you want to lose weight, focus on balancing your hormones and getting healthy. And I bet you see such a huge difference in not just how you feel, but how you look. All right, guys, that is a wrap on today's episode. If you are interested in learning more about this, absolutely check out my Instagram. I have so many posts on hormone health on there. I also have a free guide on all things hormone health and fat loss. So I'm going to link it in the episode notes. All you have to do is click the link, put in your info, and you can download it immediately. As always, thank you guys so much for listening. If you learned something from this episode, please share it with a friend, post it on your Instagram story and tag me, or even just shoot me a message on Instagram and I would love to discuss it with you. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope you have such an amazing day.